A brand new fantasy anime from the same studio that brought us The Legend of Korra, Voltron Legendary Defender, and Young Justice. Count me as very excited. This is my review of the first season of Dota, Dragon's Blood. After an encounter with a dragon and a princess on her own mission, Dragon Knight Davion becomes embroiled in events that could reshape the world as he knows it. And before I get started with my review, I want to thank Netflix for allowing me a chance to get to see the first season sooner to provide you with an earlier review. It's coming out on Netflix on March 25th, so make sure you tune in. But up until then, join me in the comments below and let me know how excited you are for Dota Dragon's Blood. Are you familiar at all with the game? Should I play the game, or are you just excited to watch the anime blindly like I did? And while you're down there, why not click the subscribe button? It really helps me out. It supports the channel, and you might just gain a brand new dragon companion in the mail if you do so. Whenever I review an anime show, especially with these ones on Netflix, I always like to start with the animation because once again it looks fantastic in this show. It just flows so well and so seamlessly. It's very smooth animation. They clearly focus on 2D, but sometimes they render the dragons in 3D to make them stand out, and it really works in the show's favor. As I said in my intro, this comes from the people who brought us The Legend of Korra, Young Justice, Voltron Legendary Defender, another amazing Netflix show that you should totally check out. And a lot of people that were voices in Voltron Legendary Defender are also voices in Dota Dragon's Blood. The show in general is a fantastic cast, including Yuri, Lowenthal, Josh, Keaton, Lara, Pulver, Tony, Todd, Troy, freaking Baker. And the very foundation of the show is personally very much up my alley. It's about this ancient land with dragons and dragon knights, and there's elves, and it's in this fantasy realm that is spectacular and amazing to just look at. As I said, the animation is just beautiful, but there's this booming epic score throughout it. The characters are worth investing your time in, and I love our main group of characters. There's this trio, which consists of Davion, a princess, and her assistant going on this journey. And after the events of the first episode, the show really picks up. The first episode of Dota Dragon's Blood really allows you to get acquainted with the basics of this world, and then boom, the lore kicks in and it just expands throughout the show. And I love when the show focused on the dragon lore. There are water dragons, ember dragons, storm dragons, air dragons. There are all these different species of dragons, and not just to be cool and to enrich the world, which it does, but it actually matters to the plot, which enriches itself episode by episode. There's a spectacular scene that I loved, and if I'm not mistaken, Mark Hamill also voices one of the dragons at one point, and there's this basically the scene which is the Council of Dragons, and not to spoil anything, but what they are discussing there is very interesting and changes your perspective on what had been happening in the show up until then. So whenever the show focuses on the dragons, the dragon lore, the relationships between dragons and humans, dragons and dragon knights specifically, the show really works for me. And I did fall in love with our main characters because I just love the group dynamic and the friendship that ensues there and how it grows. Unfortunately, I need to start talking about issues because the show has various subplots going on throughout it. I'm going to start with a more interesting one. There's this character called the Invoker that is very mysterious, and how he connects to our main plot is very interesting. And I really like what the show did with this character. It veiled him in mystery, but over time, slowly but surely, it starts to pay off how he connects to the main story. And it just never hurts that he's voiced by Troy Baker, but his story turns out to actually be rather compelling, and at points it almost seems more interesting than that amazing main story, which I already loved. Unfortunately, there's another subplot with these tribes of elves and this tribe of humans that I just really didn't care for. In essence, I just wanted it to get done and get to the point of it because I never cared about their adventure. When it comes to our main characters and the Invoker, I was invested in going along in the journey with them, but this side plot with this great warrior that is awesome and has amazing action scenes, and I'll talk about the action in a bit, I just didn't care at all. It was not emotionally investing whatsoever, and it almost feels completely detached from our main plot, apart from the fact it is happening in the same show, and eventually it does connect. But again, as soon as it came together, I was happy because I could finally care, because characters that I liked were involved. Now, I mentioned that the action was great, and there is amazing action in this. The show is rated R, and it really allows you to soak in the action. There's a big chase scene at one point. Someone is being chased by a dragon, and they just allow you to see the landscapes and everything in big, wide shots, just absorbing what there is to absorb. No quick cuts, which is amazing. I love the action, and the fight scenes in this show are also spectacular, especially one at the end of the final episode, which does end very interestingly, because even though that subplot that I didn't like kind of takes over that final episode, the fact that it converges with our main story makes it kind of work, and the show propel the characters into the directions they're going to go into on the following season. I also really appreciated how the show really feels like it changes the in-universe status quo. Our main character, Davion, is a renowned Dragonite. He's very famous, everybody loves him, he's very successful. But he learns something at the beginning of this show that clearly changes whatever the status quo is in this universe, and that really works to enhance the story, enhance the universe, the lore, and its characters. It welcomes an audience that might go in blindly without ever having played the games, which I did, and make the show feel welcoming to them, and it really works in the show's favor. One final issue that I had is that I said the animation was great for the most part, and it was. In the last episode, however, you start to notice things, and it may be a situation of they ran out of budget with all the amazing things they did in the previous 7 episodes. Dota Dragon's Blood Season 1 presents us with an incredible, fantastic world, rich characters, incredibly interesting lore that I cannot wait to see more of. I hope the next season they focus and streamline its story more, or at least make more characters beyond our main ones more interesting, because the way it ended, this show has got me hooked from now on. I'm giving the first season of Dota, Dragon's Blood, a B. I think if you are a fantasy fan, you're going to be really happy with this show. But those are my thoughts on the first season of Dota. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you're here by the time the show is out, please don't spoil anything to anyone, but let us know what you thought in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. You are the best. If you've watched this far, you're new to the channel, but you still haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell. Be aware of every time I upload a video. I'll be back very soon with my review for Falcon and Winter Soldier Episode 1. I'll also have a live discussion on the first episode on the day it comes out, and my review of the first 3 episodes of Invincible is coming out tomorrow, so I hope to see you in those and in every video I upload in the future. So until then, love each other and love the movies.